Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna finally talk about Tenkyu number 2, but before we start, don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. So Tenkyu number 2 is the newest VR boss that we got, and it is actually pretty simple, but there's a few things that you want to know about it, so let's get started. So number 1, before anything, don't forget that we have a limited weapon right now. It's limited time only. It is on discount. It's 5,000 coins less than what you would need in the weekly shop. Keep that in mind. You can buy up to 3 weapons of this weapon this week. Because of this, it's nice if you have enough coins. And also remember that there's going to be either the supporter or the weapon for the seasonal pack for Astaroth on the shop. So like next week or maybe the week after that. So save some coins and try to get all those limited items. Now back to Tenkyu. Tenkyu is a machine type enemy, and fortunately you can use the same strategy that we were using against LW's squad, and it's gonna be perfectly fine. Tenkyu is pretty unimpressive for the most part. So it has a damage reduction against melee attacks on its second stage. Similar to Taimanin, it has 2 stages, and the second one is gonna gain 2 effects. Number 1, the melee damage reduction. So you don't want to use melee attackers for the most part. You can go with melee attackers, but you want to have penetration. But even so, it is just easier to use range attackers. The second one removes all debuffs from itself once every 10 seconds. Honestly, I think this is pretty weak. I would have given it 3 seconds instead of 10 seconds. Because at 3 seconds, you're going to be able to inflict the defense reduction constantly with your mechanical dart or Momonchi weapon or any other skills. But it's going to cleanse itself. So you're going to have the damage increase, but at the same time, it's not going to get immobilized at all times. So yeah, 10 seconds is enough for us to stun lock it with the right setup. But if you're using a Boro, using a pure color won't be enough to keep it a stun lock, just so that you know. So yeah, but we can stun lock it with a Boro, and you're gonna see how. So Grammar, if you want to buff this enemy, I recommend giving it a little bit more attack on a little bit more damage on the attacks that have a wind up animation. Honestly, it has a ton of wind up animations, so a little bit more damage would be nice since they are pretty easy to avoid. So being a little bit more punishing whenever we receive those, it's completely balanced in my opinion. And yeah, the other the reducing the counter for this would be also nice. So, but what do you think, guys? Let me know in the comments if this was too easy and if it needs a buff. So, we're gonna start with this build. For both builds that I have for this enemy, we're gonna be using Micah. Preferably you use the new weapon. Even though the skill buff on the weapon is awful, the fact that it's an excellent beat stick that it's gonna beat anything else because of the damage increase and damage reduction is amazing. So just use this. Honestly, it's great. Right now I have only 1 copy, so I'm gonna be using Invisible Juggernaut and the PvP weapon. They are just beat sticks because they don't enhance the build that I have, so keep that in mind. Both 5 out of 5 and both plus 15 anti-machine Thunder Mega Damage to increase damage against machines and whatever Mega Damage on the subslot. Ruthless Explosion, Death from Above, Carpet Bombing as usual. Then we have Susune to gain HP recovery and also increase the damage dealt to the enemies. Yukina to increase skill damage. Stella to increase damage. If you want to use something different, that's fine. Like anything that increases your damage is absolutely okay. And there's also White Feather White Feather it's an option just so that you break the super armor with this character. Stats of the skills, stats of the skins, stats of the stat training. And now let's go with the Boro. Oboro Usually you're gonna use her on pure red, but this time she's gonna be going mixed. We use Skullface and we use anti-machine wood Magatemas to immobilize the enemy. Whatever weapon on the subslot, whatever Magatemas on the subslot. 4 out of 5 plus 15, 5 out of 5 plus 13. Flash Step, Hypnosis Seal, and Flash Step with Mind Control on blue. Hypnosis Seal with Mind Control, and Shadow Strike to Mind Control on green. Main green. Talking about supporters, we use Arabella with Sakuya. You can change Sakuya for whatever you have and want, honestly. You can go with Sayaneo, you can go with Akina, there's Sakura, Fairy Sakura, there's Amane if you have her. Like, I could use double Amane, but I'm missing enchantment. And of course, you can use Misaki on the main because she's gonna be a healer, and that's pretty good, and it gives you a ton of damage here. We have here the stats of the skins, stats of the stat training, and now let's go with Ragnarok. Ragnarok is here because she's a damage dealer. She does range attacks, which is extremely useful against this particular enemy, and it also further immobilizes the enemy by virtue of her freeze effect. So we have the pack weapon, but if you don't have the pack weapon, equip any weapon. None of them really matter. They don't do anything at all against this enemy, unless you're using a blue build. In that case, you can use the Momochi weapon paired with Bride and Rose. 4 out of 5 plus 15 the weapon, and anti-machine with Magatemas. The sub-weapon 5 out of 5 plus 15 with whatever Magatemas. Icicle Zone, Snowstorm, and Frostwind. Frostwind to increase our damage. Snowstorm to freeze the enemy. Icicle Zone. For the most part, we're not going to use this one, but it's there for an emergency situation where the enemy just gets away from our freezing zone. Let's call it freezing zone. Between mind control and freeze, it's not going to move. So if it moves just enough so that it stops being permastun, we're gonna use this to just stun it again. So in any case, let's see. For supporters, I have Ragnarok, Misaki, and Asaika, but if you don't have these two limited supporters, you can equip something like Torajiro, like Mitsuki. You can also equip Nanao, so any damage increase is fine, honestly. Then, stats of the custom, stats of the stat training, and okay, I'll do this. And I'm going to start showing you the attacks of Tenkyu. Tenkyu has honestly not that many skills, but I mean it's normal. The enemies don't have that many attacks to begin with. The VR enemies, they have a fair share of attacks, but not like too many. So there's this wind up. Well, you know what? I'm not going to tell you all the attacks. Specifically on this one, on this run, because the enemy is going to be permastun. It's gonna be a little bit difficult to just see the animations. So instead, I'm just going to beat it. I'm just going to show you that this is the way to beat it. Honestly, like no problem at all. I just do this and and the enemy is going to be permastun forever and ever, and it's not going to do anything at all. Okay, thank you, Micah. Let's do a little bit more damage. Thank you, Boro. Now, let's do a little bit more damage. And I do this. Is there... yeah, there's damage reduction against... there's HP increase and damage reduction. So, I might not be able to beat this run. Might. So, let's see. First of all, I destroy the mobs very quickly. There we go. Yeah, due to the what's the name? The HP increase paired with the assist type and suppress type damage reduction, it is a little bit difficult to deal with this. But even so, you can see that this is pretty consistent. The enemy is not attacking, it's not doing anything. So, yeah. Wow, I receive a hit. That's a miracle. And I'm going to let the whole animation just to reduce the cooldown of my skills so that I can just deal as much DPS as possible. Because as you can see, the timer is my biggest enemy right now. Okay, perfect. Again, we leave the whole animation. And there. I do this, and I also use the active. Nice. Perfect. I think I can do it. I think it's doable. So yeah, pretty nice. Yeah, I honestly want to show you the whole attacks the attack pattern for the enemy, but for a moment I forgot that this whole build is about not letting the enemy do anything at all, so it will be a little bit difficult to see the attack pattern, as you may have noticed. So yeah, let's just done. Even with the damage reduction and the HP increase, it was doable because of the fact that we just stop the enemy on its tracks before it's able to do anything, and we can just keep attacking it. So yeah, nice. Pretty simple. Now let's use a different build. This one is a little bit more F2P. So again, Micah is exactly the same as before. Try to equip the new weapon when you have it. And we're going to be using Phantasma. You can change Phantasma for green Murasaki, because the idea is that a Phantasma becomes our taunter. She's able to become a taunter if you have enough damage reduction, and she's pretty proficient at that. But the easiest option is going to be Murasaki green. So the weapon doesn't really matter. The only exception might be Fallen Heart. That enhances somewhat the performance of Phantasma against this specific enemy. Again, since she's gonna be next to the enemy, we're gonna use the wood element on the anti-machine. Whatever weapons, 5 out of 5, plus 15, both of them. Whatever Magatamas on the sub-slot. For skills, we use Crunching Fear and Twister Dance to recover HP, along with Slasher Horror to get next to the enemy so that we can abuse our leader skill. That's the thing here. You could use Phantasmal Mirror, but you want to be next to the enemy to increase your damage. So keep that in mind. For supporters, there's different options that you can equip. You can equip Major, Momochi Nagi, that is the best. If you want more damage, Shirayuki for sure. Any of the classic red supporters like Susune, like Yukina, like Holy Knight Kirara. But if you want to be tankier, you can also use Vacation Furfur and Gal Lilim. I'm gonna use Gal Lilim over here. And stats of the customs, stats of the stat training. And let's go with Astaroth. Astaroth is gonna be our main damage dealer, and she goes F2P because she's using Hexagram. Hexagram is a great weapon. The other good weapon that you can use on this stage is gonna be Undying Apophis. So keep an eye on that one. And we're gonna use anti-machine with Magatamas, whatever Magatamas on the subslot, whatever weapon, both 5 out of 5 plus 15, Supernova, Fire Blast, and Lava, and Serpent Blaze. Lava Servant, it is not as useful because the AoE of the skills of the enemy is going to hit you if you're next to the enemy. So preferably you don't use Lava Servant or Satellite Flare. So instead, since there are going to be a lot of enemies, use Serpent Blaze because it has auto tracking, and Supernova, and Fire Blast to keep your distance. For supporters, we have Amane, we have Arabella, and Kirara on the last one. But let's say you don't have Kirara. You can equip, for example, Massacre Kunai, super excellent supporter. You can also use Blue Founding 3, you can use Sayaneo, you can use, let's see, what other one we can use to increase our damage? Because we want damage increase. You could use Koharu, yeah, the gacha one. So yeah, anything that increases your damage would be fine. You don't want damage reduction with Astro, honestly. Stats of the customs, stats of the stat training, and let's do the other run, and let's analyze now the attack pattern. So the first thing that you will notice is that Tenkyu likes to do this wind up, this swinging with both its arms. First it's one, then it's the other, and last it's the two of them at the same time. And that deals a decent amount of damage. No, it didn't. Sometimes it's gonna launch rockets from its back, and that's going to make a circle on the ground that is going to do a ton of multi-hits. It is pretty aggressive, pretty devastating, and it pairs super well with on-hit effects, like when hit has a 10% chance to increase skill cooldown. It is extremely annoying whenever you get hit with that one. So be careful. It has these... Oh, okay, this is the... Okay, two things are happening at the same time. So number one, it did the Beyblade, and the Beyblade is going to be... it's not going to move, and it's going to have a small AoE on the first stage. Right now, at the same time, we're seeing the death circle that I mentioned. It launches the missiles, and we can see the missiles right now over here, this and this one. They do a ton of multi-hits, so careful with those. You don't want to be on its AoE, trust me. It is pretty aggressive. Nope, again it didn't do it. Whenever it takes out the blades, I expect a different attack. It has a launcher attack where it rushes in front and tackles the enemy and launches it. Nope. Again, the arm swing. Yeah, it's that one. You see? It launches the enemy. Excellent. Yeah, so we saw another attack. And let's do this. Yeah, basically we have seen all the attacks for the first stage. After that, it does this animation, as you can see, that is going to summon enemies. And while it summons a couple enemies, this is not like Queen Arachne. It re-summons enemies once you clear them all. So keep that in mind. Now, it becomes a little bit more aggressive because some attack patterns change. Let's see. Nope. I just wanted to do the other attack. So Phantasma, please heal yourself. Okay, I'm just going to wait the animation so that Phantasma has more cooldown reduction so that she can heal herself. Okay, come on. Can we see a different attack? Do the Beyblade again. Do the laser maybe, because we're missing those. The Beyblade changes when it's the second stage, and I want to show you that. That's the laser. That's the laser. The laser is pretty cool, but pretty easy to avoid. Excellent. Having the mobs is really good for Phantasma, because she's able to... Oh, God! Yeah, the Beyblade lasts longer, has a bigger AoE, and now moves on the second stage. So you want to use your ultimate to interrupt that animation. Okay. I am going to. Come on. My god, is this bad? Yeah, I need more damage. I'm a little bit too tanky. Oof, 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 oof. Let's hope that the enemy summons some mobs so that I can heal. The mobs are going to allow me to heal. And yeah, so we have already seen all the attacks, fortunately. Oops, mission failed. Well, whatever. Like, honestly, usually it depends on the effects, on the stage effects. I'm gonna do this again because I have beaten this stage with this build, but I really need to hit no HP increase. That would be amazing. I can go with damage reduction, but no HP increase. Okay, nice, nice. This is perfect. It has mob HP increase, which is actually pretty good so that Phantasma is able to heal more. Because the enemies are gonna last longer and they're gonna be able to. I'm gonna be able to heal. Nice. So I just attack and keep attacking. And we have seen all the attacks, so that's great. Now you know how this enemy attacks, how it moves. Oh yeah, I'm talking about mobility. This enemy has high mobility, but it almost never uses its high mobility. It has gone from one part of the stage to another, but it's only when there's nothing next to it. If you are within a mid range of proximity to it, it's not going to move. Basically, it's going to stick around and fight against the enemy, which is the closest. So yeah, that's kind of okay. Because another thing that they could do to buff this is just make him a little bit smarter, so that it attacks ranged attackers or go after ranged attackers. That way, it will be really annoying. They could increase the power of its attacks that have some wind up. They could also progressively increase the damage dealt by the Beyblade. That would also be super super good. And they could also reduce the timer on its debuff reset. Yeah, that would be nice. Honestly, I do think this enemy needs a buff, but I mean, whatever is fine. Oh yeah, I also forgot to talk about the mobs. The mobs have the ability to stun you, so be careful. The lasers are pretty dangerous because you're gonna stay in place and you're not gonna deal damage, and that might be annoying because there's a timer. So keep an eye on the enemies. You want to eliminate them as soon as possible, but at the same time use them to heal your tank, your taunter. Okay, it's gonna be super super useful. Oh my god, this has so much HP. Can I beat it? Perhaps I can. I think I can. Oh, ooh, Phantasma. She took the missiles. Yeah, those missiles are pretty deadly. That's why I put damage reduction. Come on. Okay. No, I don't think I'm gonna be doing this. Nope. It seems not. It seems not. Yeah, 30 seconds, and I haven't defeated half of its HP. Yeah, not doing it, guys. Not doing it. Pretty obvious. But I'll try it nonetheless. Yeah, look at that. Oof, no. Yeah, the Beyblade, it is pretty devastating, just as much as the Beyblade on the second stage is pretty devastating, just as the missiles, because the hit effects like particle drain, skill cooldown increase and such are devastating when the enemy has that effect. Yeah, let's do that again. God, I want to show you that I have done this. Like, I recorded this before, but I didn't have the audio on, so I was just talking to the wall. Yeah, but anyways, let's do another run. I'm gonna fish for it. No, forget it. HP increase and damage reduction. We had the same damage reduction and we didn't manage. So let's see. Come on, give me. Like suppressed damage reduction doesn't matter, but no HP increase. No HP increase. No HP increase. Let's see. Do we have a skill? Skill damage decrease. No. Skill damage decrease is also pretty annoying. Like, whenever these effects stack, it's not that it's difficult. It's just that I don't have penetration. I could have penetration with something like Francis, the limited Francis, but I don't want to put more limited equipment on top of this. So, yeah, this is actually good. This is actually good. I don't have assist, and there's no HP increase, and neither is there skill damage reduction. So that's fine. That's actually pretty fine. Even though I have received damage, it doesn't matter because I have the regen from Kirara. So yeah, now I can beat the enemy. Yeah, it's unfortunate that I had to fish for it, but well, it is what it is. Because I'm avoiding penetration. But you can just add penetration into the mix and it's gonna be way easier. Like, you saw how Ragnarok just obliterated this enemy? Remember that the weapon gives penetration, so that's a thing. Now, let's just do this, and then I use the ultimate, and I leave the animation so that I can use Supernova faster. And it's done. And I use this. Nice, perfect. Also, just for you to know, technically, you can also use Emily. She has an anti-machine weapon. But honestly, Emily isn't the best damage dealer. She's a busted character because of her auto capabilities. Because she's pretty weak damage-wise. But she has some of the best gear. So she compensates her super fast basic attacks are amazing to do combos and also to abuse the Momochi weapon, to abuse the Sledge of Blessing. So yeah, it's pretty easy to compensate for the lack of damage. Because her best skill is the blue skill, because the green and red require you to be next to the enemy, and that's terrible. You don't want to be next to the enemy. So yeah, using Emily is an option, but honestly, even though it has a weapon that increases its damage, her damage, I do not recommend using Emily as a damage dealer against machines. In general, there might be scenarios, but maybe on green and if you manually farm. Because green has the skill damage increase, but you want to be next to the enemy, and that's not good. So you want to pilot her yourself in that case. So yeah, as you can see, oh, nice. Excellent. So anyways, that's about it, guys. What do you think about this enemy? Is it easy? Is it not? Should it receive a buff? Should it not? Did you like the weapon? I mean, I love the fact that the weapon is for Micah, but I hate the skill it enhances. Unfortunately, Micah is receiving her renewal, so I hope that they give her a leader skill and that they change half of her kit. Like I mentioned in her video, there's a ton of her skills that are completely useless. Her basic enhancer is pretty useless. Her grenade launcher is completely useless because we have carpet bombing. Crimson Lotus is just another version of the basic enhancer, which is useless. Pile Flare feels super awkward to use. The defense is awful. Everything else is nice. But the animation, God, the animation is bad. And of course, this explosive round. You don't want a ranged attacker to have a counter. Not if the ranged attacker likes to be away from the enemy, and that is the case for Micah. And unfortunately, I know for a fact they're not going to change this because it is the skill enhanced by this weapon. So they might buff it, change the effects maybe, but for the most part, I don't think they're gonna do anything with that skill. So let's hope for the best, and I hope you find this useful, guys. If you use the first strategy, by the way, you might as well use Challenger Hunter and Taimanin because the enemy is not going to move and you can abuse the penetration. But for a strategy with a counter, you want to use the name of Fuma. So that's about it for today. I hope you find this useful, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!